Hello friends, welcome to the IIBM India. IIBM India has brought a new course on logistics and supply chain management. This logistics and supply chain management course, it consists of 10 different modules. In these 10 different modules, the different concepts, theory, some frameworks, different models will be taught into each course. Then there will be some hands-on experiences or exercises will be carried out in modeling and analytics modules. Also, the industry live case studies or already implemented case studies will be taken to understand how exactly theory works in a practical scenarios. Then this course also consists of performance assessment of the learners. It will be conducted through the quizzes and some projects. Projects will give better idea how exactly theory works. It will bridge the gap between theory and practicals. And also it will have discussions about the doubts or any queries related to the course and discussions about the job opportunities in the area of logistics and supply chain management. Now we will see in detail all the points about modules, hands-on experience, industry case studies, performance assessment in detail. Starting with the supply chain modules, these modules are divided into 10 different 10 different modules. The course is divided into 10 different modules. Namely, the first one is the business fundamentals, then basics of supply chain management. Once we will learn basics of supply chain management, then we will come to know that what are the different functions in supply chain. And then each function will be taught in detail. That is, the next is logistics, transportation and warehousing, then inventory management, procurement and supplier management, supply chain modeling and optimization. Then we will also discuss about the role of information technology and various technologies in supply chain, how it is making supply chain faster and transparent. Then we'll also see the special types of supply chain, and nowadays data analytics is a very important thing. So how that data analytics can be used along with the supply chain as a supply chain analytics. And finally, the lean supply chain management. So every course, every module is consists of a particular syllabus. In each syllabus, the theory will be taught, that is a course material. Then assignments in the form of quizzes will be taken. And finally, there will be a project on each module that learner have to do for better understanding. And all these models from 1 to 10 are connected to each other, right? So that whole concept of logistics and supply chain management can be understood very well by the learners. Let us discuss all these modules in detail. The first module is business fundamentals. Here, we would like to help all the learners to understand how different businesses are working, right? How they operate in different environment. As we know, as you can see on the screen, there are different types of companies like Amul, Amazon, Flipkart, JCB, and so on. They are working in different sectors, different industries, right? So we will start our this business fundamental course with the Indian economy. What types of sectors are there? And in each sector, what type of industries, right? And then how in different industries, different type of companies are making a business, though the business is having a unique goal of making more profit or earning money, right? But every organization works in different way, right? The Amul work in different way. The Tata Motors is having their different strategies, right? Different type of products, different type of factories, right? The DMart is having, they don't manufacture anything, but still they make a business, right? So likewise, we will try to study variety of industries and companies in during case studies and try to know how practically it works. So and also we will try to understand the different business function, types of businesses, right? What are the different department and functions? Once we understand, once we get the overview of the how business works, then we will go to the next module, that is basics of supply chain management. Here we will start with the definition and history of the supply chain and logistics. And then we will study about the basic model of supply chain up to the complicated models of the supply chain, how it exactly works in various industries. So along after that, we will study about the different process views, right? That is a cyclic process view, pull and push supply chains, right? How as business are changing, how companies are changing accordingly. The way supply chain managed is also changing. We will also see the decision making process into the supply chain and how it is impacting to the businesses. And these decisions are of different types. It is having an impact of short time to the long term, right? We will also study about the different types of supply chain, mainly efficient and responsive. And there are definitely some hybrid supply chains also. It is important to understand the supply chain drivers, namely facilities, which are actually factories and warehouses, where the material is either produced or stored. Then inventory, transport, information, pricing, and sourcing. How all this driver helps to make your supply chain either efficient, responsive, or maybe both. And finally, we will also try to learn the strategic fit. Every organization is having some strategy or certain objective. How our supply chain can be aligned with that competitive strategy. That also we are going to learn along with the case studies. Coming to the third module, which is about the logistics and transportation and warehousing. In under the logistic part, we will discuss about the transportation as well as warehousing. So we'll start with the transportation. What are the different modes of transportation? How is the costing of that particular mode, right? In India, we know that the transportation is happening between rail, road, different modes of pipelines, then water, air, multimodal transportation. Multimodal means the use of multiple types of modes while delivering the product. We will also see the modeling and optimization, because when the particular product is produced in certain factory or company, that product need to be delivered to the customer, and that is where this transportation comes into the picture. The cost of transportation is also high. How it can be minimized so that total product cost will get minimized, and that is where that transportation modeling and optimization will be done in order to minimize number of trucks required, in order to minimize the distance. Automatically, in turn, it will reduce the cost of the total transportation. We will also see the warehousing management, where we will study the types of warehouses. The evolution happened in the warehouses from go down to now. We will now for these warehouses there are different things like logistic parks. We will also try to study the best practices in the warehousing, which is about the picking, then packing, then loading, unloading, right? There will be a lot of activities, and we will study the best practices into each activity. What is the strategic importance of these warehouses in the business? Because they are not manufacturing anything, but they are basically used for storage purpose, right? In total network design or total supply chain network, how this transportation and warehousing is having important role, that we'll see. Also, we are going to discuss about the 3PL and 4PL. So every company is not doing this transportation and warehousing by their own. Generally, they give it to their supplier, the third parties, right? And that is called as a third party logistic. And maybe sometime it is a fourth party logistic that we will discuss in this module. Coming to the next module, which is on the inventory management. Now, inventory generally we call it as a stock, but the company in company's language or in finance language, inventory is a money, because inventory can be in the form of your raw material, finished goods, right? And if it is not used, if it is not sold, then that is a money which is lying on the floor in the company, in the warehouse, right? So that is what we are going to discuss about this inventory management. So in every company, there are people who are dedicated to minimize the inventory, reduce the inventory, because a lot of money is piled up in all this inventory. So that is why they are maintaining records and trying to minimize or optimize the inventory. At the same time, they have to keep availability of the product in market. So it is a trade-off between the availability of the products and huge inventory. So there are raw materials, WIP, finished goods, which we are going to discuss. Then there will be some inventory models which will help us to minimize the inventory or optimize the inventory. There is a model like EOQ, economic order quantity, then lot sizing, right? Then safety stock. Then for production, there is a EPQ, economic production quantity. All these things we are going to discuss into the inventory management. We'll also talk about the seasonal and in-transit inventory, right? And the trade-offs between efficiency and responsiveness with respect to inventory management. Coming to the next module, which is about the procurement and supplier management, because in every organization or for any company, it is not possible to manufacture all kinds of products or components in their company. If you take example of Bajaj Auto, they are not manufacturing tires, seats, mirrors, and some other components. Definitely, they have developed their suppliers who are supplying them these parts, and that is where the role of supplier comes in, right? And the process of, maybe it starts with basically the supplier process, or the supplier management process starts with whether we are going to manufacture in-house or outsource. If we are going to outsource, then whether it is a domestic purchase or whether it is a we are going to import it. In case of domestic, local laws will be applicable, but in case of import and export, we need to consider the international commercial terms, which is known as popularly Incoterms, right? For developing new suppliers, we need to identify them, we need to develop them, we need to give them some time so that they will manufacture the products as per our requirements, right? And then there should be vendor rating, that is a assessment of the supplier should be done on a regular basis, maybe for 6 months, 3 months, or yearly basis, which will keep that supplier motivated to perform better, to get the orders, right? And how that process happens in different companies, that we will study. In purchase or in procurement, negotiation skills are very much required in order to reduce your cost, in order to get the products on time, get the quality products, build a good relationship with your suppliers, right? So that supplier and your company work in a win-win situation. Both will get benefited, right? So that is what we are going to learn in this procurement and supplier management. Next module is about the supply chain modeling and simulation. So as we have seen, the network of supply chain having the different stages in the supply chain, right? Basically the factories, warehouses, depots, then there is a transportation, then there are retail stores, wholesalers, their suppliers are there. How all this can be connected together so that product will be produced and distributed or delivered to the final customer. And that is where the logistic modeling will be done. The transportation, transshipment models, right? Route will be optimized by using the traveling salesman problem or vehicle routing problem. We will also try to optimize warehousing operations, how the cost can be minimized, how the time can be minimized in order to deliver the products. We'll also study about the facility location model. It will help us to locate new facility, whether it is a factory or warehouse in your network, in existing network. And all these things we are going to do by using the solver add-in, which is a part of MS Excel. And also we will introduce some simulation softwares, or at least give overview about that. Coming to the next model, which is about the role of IT in technology. Now, in every field, information technology or the recent technologies are making very impact on the business. It is helping businesses to earn more money, make more revenue, right? Similarly, in supply chain, there are a lot of technologies, right? So let us start with the ERP, that is enterprise resource planning. The major players are SAP and Oracle, but there are other players also, Microsoft Dynamics. Nowadays, people are doing all these ERP related things on cloud, right? So regarding ERP, how it is making a particular organization faster, how they are collaborating with suppliers and customers, right? The simple technology like barcode and QR code, nowadays it is used for payment purposes, but how it is used in supply chain in order to keep the track of the products, keep the track of transactions, how it can be used in inventory management as well as the finance. Then also RFID is some advanced technology can be used in instead of barcode, right? So that is a radio frequency ID of the product. Nowadays we can see that because of this IT, the businesses are converting into the e-commerce. They are trying to sell their products in online way. The whole new industries are coming up, right? Apart from that, there are digital supply chains which we are talking about. Also the new technology like blockchain, which is helping companies to make the your supply chain more trustworthy, right? How you can make it more transparent so that the processes in the supply chain or the products will not be tampered. Customer will believe on your processes, what you are doing. The faith of the customers will increase because of the use of blockchain into the supply chain. We will see some practical case studies also where these technologies are used by some companies. And nowadays, people are also talking about the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we will have the overview of all these technologies and how they are used in the supply chain in order to increase the productivity, profits, and other things. Coming to the next module, which is about the special types of supply chain. Till now, we are discussing mainly from the manufacturing and service point of view, but there are some specific supply chains, right? Which is related to the that particular industry. Now let us start with the first cold supply chain. It is mainly required in the that kind of product where the product life is less, where the items are perishable, and these are the main industry, that is the food industry and pharmaceutical industry. And for all these type of companies or industries, they require everything in a controlled temperature. So whether it is your warehouse, it is a cold storage where during the transportation also you need to maintain that temperature, maybe at freezer or at some controlled temperature. So whole supply chain is in refrigerated condition. So how it works for different types of product, because this is the additional constraint for such a type of product, perishable items, right? Liquid supply chains. It is not only about the oil and gas, that is the petrol and diesel. There are a lot of products, your water bottle, the milk which we are buying, the paints which we are buying in a, right? Some products are available in the pouches, right? So there are a lot of things which are coming in the form of liquid or fluids, how their supply chain is there, right? Then we'll see also about the reverse logistics. We know what is the supply chain and logistics that we are going to discuss in earlier modules. Reverse logistics, when customer is not getting the appropriate product, there should be a mechanism that customer can return it to the company that you have not delivered the exact product required by me. So that is where the reverse logistic is required. Nowadays, we can see that in the e-commerce companies like Flipkart, Amazon, what they are doing, they're having that return mechanism properly because customer gets satisfied when that mechanism works well. So how this reverse logistics works for different type of industries, that also we will see. Green and sustainable supply chains. Definitely, globally, there is a lot of pressures on every nation, different companies to reduce the emissions, right? And try to make the earth more green and greener, make it more sustainable. And that is how we can make our supply chain more, how we can make our supply chain in which the emissions can be reduced. Right nowadays, the vehicles are also changing the technology from IC engine to the electric vehicles. Automatically, it will reduce the emissions by these vehicles, and that is what used in transportation, which is a part of supply chain. So this green and sustainable supply chain, we will see some best case studies, best examples, which is implemented by some of the companies to understand how the supply chain can be made greener and sustainable. The global supply chain, every organization is trying to become a global. They want to manufacture product into different countries and sell the product to the customers or the people in that particular country. If not, they're manufacturing in their own country and exporting it across the globe wherever it is required. So when we are considering about this global supply chain, there should be the network of transporters, right? Then factories, warehouses, retail outlets, so that we will see through the different cases, right? And also the agile and flexible supply chain. This corona or the pandemic situation has given a lot of importance to the agile and flexible properties of the supply chain. Means when the market is changing, when the environment is changing, how your supply chain is adopting that scenario. Because of the pandemic, many supply chain got disrupted. How? But there are certain supply chain who have adopted this COVID situation also. So that we will study with the examples. Coming to the next model, which is about the lean supply chain management. Here we will try to learn the different perspectives of lean, how the supply chain, how the lean management, which is used by the Toyota production or the Toyota company in Japan. And now a lot of companies are following that. How this lean can be blended with the supply chain and how the supply chain can be leaner, how that fat supply chain can be made lean by reducing inventory and different techniques. We will also discuss about the supply chain risk management. There are definitely certain risks in every function, in every operation, how it can be anticipated and how it can be mitigated, that we'll see. We'll also talk about the forecasting and aggregate planning, which is a important part of supply chain and operations. And then we will see definitely certain innovations in the supply chain management, which are pioneered by various companies like Walmart, Dell, Mumbai Dabawala. There are many Indian companies as well. Then we will see the supply chain analytics, which we have told already that data analytics field is coming up. And the person who is having the knowledge of supply chain, he can also do the definitely certain projects, which is about the supply chain analytics. Projects can be done in the field of logistics, transportation, production, inventory. What need to do? Collecting a huge data and getting some insights, right? These are some of the projects done by retail industry, consumer products industry. They are talking in terms of percentage, how the cost can be reduced, how much is the cost or how much is the benefit of that particular sector. And that is very much possible. We are going to do this with the example or with some hands-on assignments. We will have certain assignments in which we need to carry out this inventory analytics, which will help to make certain decisions. It is not only about getting a data and doing analysis, but how based on that analysis or analytics we can do the decision making. So in supply chain, there are different way the analytics can be done, right? How we can increase the revenue, how we can reduce the cost, what practices need to be done in that way. Coming to the next part, these were the 10 modules which we have discussed. But in each module, as I said, different assignments, different hands-on exercises will be conducted. So that is how you will also come to know that how the things can be optimized, how different models can be used in logistics, in warehousing, or maybe in inventory management, right? Also in data analytics, how the simple applications like Excel, Minitab can be used. And as and when required, definitely the help of different case studies will be taken to understand those concepts very well. And definitely your performance will be assessed after every module. Every module will have the quizzes, right, which is in the form of multiple choice questions. And then there will be project based learning that you have to do yourself based on the module, whatever we are going to discuss, based on which these are the some tentative projects which are listed here. Need to understand the business cycle, study of company supply chain, right? Then logistics, how to make route and schedule for the particular scenario if it is provided, how to decide facility locations based on the data given, then inventory analysis and how it can be optimized, right? Feasibility of recent technologies in the supply chain, data analytics assignments in different areas that we will be seeing, and the use or blend of this lean into the supply chain management. So such a kind of projects can be carried out throughout the course, and quizzes will be there after each module. Yeah, and during when you are pursuing this particular course, there will be discussions carried out on a regular basis. Your doubts during the course will be discussed here, and also the job opportunities related to the supply chain management will be shared with you guys. Now, why to do this particular course? Let us try to understand from the uh, people who are basically leading the companies and also who are part of basically the let's say government. Now let us start. Let us listen this. India. So it's interesting that companies like Walmart and Dell and Zara, they don't manufacture products, they sort of sell, of course, Walmart to retail products, but supply chain and logistics has been key to success of all these companies. Right. And I'm sure that logistics as a division of Reliance, right, is going to be a very major growth in Reliance and growing. Right. So how would you see the growth of logistics as a component for any business? Till 3 to 5 years back, I think logistics was basically an execution arm. That means, after your sales, after your procurement, because either logistics is there in a procure to pay cycle or a order to cash cycle. Instead, what is happening is recently and across the world, and especially in Reliance, when the competition is high, when technology is forcing you to innovate in such a way where you have to meet demands in a shorter product life cycle. What is being realized is that, and also in the globalization in terms of the product part, your global environment, imports can come in, exports can go out. You are being forced wherein saying that, okay, fine, look at all the logistics opportunities and constraints upfront. So logistics and supply chain now is very integral part of business strategy. I think the Dell actually showed that way in terms of when they said through a proper supply chain strategy, they could create a competitive advantage. So this is what is different companies are saying. Let us see what our Prime Minister is saying about the supply chain management opportunities.
साथियों, कोरोना संकट ने हमें लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, लोकल मार्केट, लोकल सप्लाई चेन, इसका भी महत्व बराबर समझा दिया है। साथियों,
Thank you for listening this course overview video. I hope you will join this course for the better opportunities. See you. Thank you.